Hello, I'm Essay, your AI essayist. Please note that all content, audio and video in this presentation are AI generated. As AI can sometimes produce inaccuracies, I encourage you to verify any factual information presented. With that in mind, let's begin.
Here is the complete essay, ready for use, based on your instructions, 1973 Karl von Frisch, Konrad Lorenz, Nikolaas Tinbergen Organization and Elicitation of Individual and Social Behavior Patterns. The year 1973 witnessed the bestowal of the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine upon three towering figures of ethology: Karl von Frisch, Konrad Lorenz, and Nikolaas Tinbergen. Their combined empirical and theoretical contributions revolutionized the study of animal behavior, shifting its focus from purely instinctual or environmentally determined responses towards a sophisticated understanding of innate behaviors modified by experience and driven by evolutionary pressures. The collection of papers presented under the title Organization and Elicitation of Individual and Social Behavior Patterns, published during this landmark year, serves as a valuable microcosm into the core themes and debates animating the field at that time. This essay aims to dissect the key claims, methodologies, and underlying assumptions within the included works, providing a critical evaluation of their impact and lasting relevance. Section 1. Karl von Frisch and the language of the bees. Karl von Frisch research, prominently featured within the collective work, meticulously explored the dance language of honeybees. He contended that these intricate behavioral patterns constituted a sophisticated form of communication, conveying information about the distance and direction of food sources to other members of the hive. Von Frisch's initial observations, detailed through decades of painstaking empirical work, revealed two primary dances: the round dance, indicating a food source within close proximity, and the waggle dance, communicating both direction and distance for more remote locations. The waggle dance, in particular, proved revolutionary. Von Frisch claimed that the angle of the waggle run relative to the vertical corresponded to the angle of the food source relative to the sun, offering a symbolic representation of navigational information. Distance limited was encoded within the duration of the waggle run itself. Evaluating these claims requires careful consideration of the experimental methodology employed. Von Frisch meticulously controlled variables such as the location and type of food source, systematically observing and recording the subsequent behavior of the bees. He cleverly utilized artificial light sources to manipulate the perceived position of the sun, demonstrating the bees' reliance on celestial cues for orientation. However, challenges to von Frisch's interpretation soon surfaced. Critics argued that the dance language was not necessarily conveying precise instructions, but rather serving as a general stimulus to motivate foraging behavior. Experimental evidence suggested that olfactory cues, rather than purely visual ones, played a more significant role than initially acknowledged. Subsequent research has revealed that bees also use other mechanisms, such as pheromones and acoustic signals, to coordinate foraging activities, enriching and complexifying the original picture presented by von Frisch. This does not invalidate the initial claims, but provides richer understanding. Despite these revisions, the foundational work of von Frisch remains a cornerstone of ethological research, establishing the importance of communication signals in social insect behavior and the complexity of their internal navigation systems. The intricacies of honeybee behavior are still not fully understood, leading to new insights and re-evaluation of existing paradigms. Section 2. Konrad Lorenz and the foundations of ethology, instinct and imprinting. Konrad Lorenz, a key figure in the triumvirate, provided fundamental insights into the concept of instinct and its modification through learning, most notably through the phenomenon of imprinting. Lorenz argued that many complex behavioral patterns are genetically programmed, developing relatively independently of environmental influence. He termed these innate behaviors fixed action patterns, characterized by their stereotyped nature, their species specificity, and their release by specific stimuli known as sign stimuli, or releases, imprinting, as described by Lorenz, represented a critical interplay between innate predispositions and environmental experience. He observed that young goslings, upon hatching, would form a strong social attachment to the first moving object they encountered, typically their mother. This attachment occurred during a sensitive period early in the gosling's life and proved remarkably persistent. Lorenz famously imprinted goslings on himself, demonstrating the power of this early learning process to override innate preferences. The validity of Lorenz's claims rests upon his meticulous observational studies of animal behavior in naturalistic settings. He carefully documented the sequences of events that constituted fixed action patterns, identified the specific stimuli that triggered these behaviors, and examined the developmental trajectories of imprinted attachments. However, his concept of instinct was not without its critics. Some argued that his emphasis on innate predispositions downplayed the role of environmental factors in shaping behavior, potentially leading to an overly deterministic view of animal behavior. Furthermore, the notion of a fixed action pattern came under scrutiny, as subsequent research revealed a greater degree of flexibility and variability in behavioral responses than Lorenz initially acknowledged. His emphasis on the fixed action pattern was often presented as an all-or-nothing phenomenon, with the entire sequence being triggered by a single stimulus. However, research has indicated that the parts of the instinctual behavior can be influenced by various inputs from the environment, including learning. Despite these qualifications, Lorenz's contributions to ethology remain undeniable. He established the importance of studying animal behavior in its natural context, highlighted the role of innate factors in shaping behavioral development, and provided a powerful framework for understanding the interplay between instinct and learning. Subsequent studies refined the precise mechanisms underlying imprinting, revealing that it involved complex neural processes and that the sensitive period was not as rigidly defined as initially proposed. It is instead a probabilistic window of enhanced susceptibility. Section 3. Nikolaas, Tinbergen, and the 4 Questions of Ethology. Nikolaas Tinbergen formulated a concise and powerful framework for studying animal behavior, organized around 4 fundamental questions: causation, ontogeny, function, and evolution. Where function is concerned with survival advantage, these questions, as presented in the collected work, provided a comprehensive framework for understanding behavior from multiple perspectives, integrating proximate and ultimate levels of analysis. Causation refers to the immediate mechanisms that trigger a particular behavior, including physiological, neurological, and environmental factors. Ontogeny concerns the developmental processes underlying the emergence and modification of behavior over an individual's lifetime, encompassing both genetic and environmental influences. Function addresses the adaptive significance of a behavior, examining how it contributes to an organism's survival and reproduction. Evolution explores the historical origins of behavior, tracing its phylogenetic history and examining how it has been shaped by natural selection. Tinbergen's framework proved highly influential in shaping the direction of ethological research. It encouraged researchers to adopt a holistic approach to studying behavior, considering its immediate causes, its developmental origins, its adaptive significance, and its evolutionary history. This framework helped to bridge the gap between different disciplines, such as physiology, ecology, and evolutionary biology, fostering a more integrated understanding of animal behavior. His own work focused on the study of instinct, learning, and social behavior in a variety of species, including gulls, insects, and fish. He emphasized the importance of conducting careful observations of animal behavior in natural settings and of designing rigorous experiments to test specific hypotheses. Tinbergen's meticulous studies on the nesting behavior of the black-headed gull, for example, demonstrated the adaptive function of eggshell removal, revealing how this behavior reduced the risk of predation. Subsequent research has expanded upon Tinbergen's framework, incorporating new insights from fields such as genetics, neuroscience, and behavioral ecology. While the 4 questions remain a cornerstone of ethological research, they have been refined and elaborated upon to account for the complexity and diversity of animal behavior. For instance, the study of cultural or learned behaviors passed down through generations has become a key area of research. Despite these developments, Tinbergen's original framework continues to provide a valuable guide for understanding the multifaceted nature of behavior. Section 4, Social Behavior and Communication Signals, a comparative perspective. The collective word emphasizes the importance of studying social behavior and communication signals in a comparative context, examining how these phenomena vary across different species and ecological niches. Von Frisch's work on honeybee communication provides a striking example of the complexity and sophistication of social insect behavior, demonstrating how highly organized societies and evolved through natural selection. Lorenz studies on imprinting and social bonding shed light on the role of early experiences in shaping social relationships, highlighting the importance of sensitive periods and innate predispositions. Tinbergen's research on the nesting behavior of gulls reveals the adaptive significance of communication signals in mediating social interactions, such as courtship, aggression, and parental. Evaluating the claims regarding social behavior and communication requires careful consideration of the ecological contexts in which these behaviors evolved. The social structures and communication systems of honeybees, for example, are intimately linked to their colonial lifestyle and their reliance on cooperative foraging. The imprinting behavior of goslings is shaped by the need to form a strong social bond with their parent early in life, providing protection and guidance. The communication signals of gulls are adapted to the specific challenges of nesting in dense colonies, where competition for resources and defense against predators are paramount. Critics have cautioned against overgeneralizing from specific examples, emphasizing the importance of considering the unique ecological and evolutionary pressures that shape social behavior and communication in each species. For example, while imprinting is apparent in many bird species, it is not a universal phenomenon. Subsequent research has revealed a remarkable diversity of social behaviors and communication systems across the animal kingdom, highlighting the importance of adopting a comparative perspective. Studies on primate social behavior, for example, have revealed complex hierarchies, alliances, and communication strategies that are shaped by factors such as group size, resource availability, and predation risk. Research on animal communication has expanded beyond visual and auditory signals to encompass chemical, tactile, and electrical modes of communication, revealing a greater diversity and sophistication than initially recognized. Section 5, The Role of Innate Releasing Mechanisms and Sign Stimuli. A recurring theme throughout the collective work focuses on the concept of innate releasing mechanisms, IRMs, and sign stimuli, or releases, which trigger specific behaviors. This concept, central to classical ethology, posits that certain behaviors are elicited by particular features present in the environment, acting as triggers that release a preprogrammed behavioral response. Lorenz's work on fixed action patterns provides a prime example of this phenomenon, where specific visual or auditory stimuli can reliably elicit complex behavioral sequences. Tinbergen's research on the nesting behavior of gulls further illustrates the importance of sign stimuli, demonstrating how specific visual cues, such as the red spot on the bill of an adult gull, can elicit begging behavior in chicks. Assessing the validity of these claims requires careful examination of the experimental evidence supporting the existence of IRMs and sign stimuli. Studies have shown that specific stimuli can indeed elicit reliable behavioral responses, even in the absence of prior experience. However, the concept of the IRM has also been subject to criticism. Some argued that it oversimplifies the neural mechanisms underlying behavior, potentially overlooking the role of learning and experience in shaping behavioral responses. Furthermore, The notion of a fixed action pattern triggered by a single sign stimulus has been challenged by research demonstrating greater flexibility and variability in behavior. Subsequent research has revealed that the neural mechanisms underlying behavior are far more complex than initially envisioned. The brain does not simply process sensory information and trigger a fixed response. Instead, it integrates information from multiple sources, including sensory input, internal state, and prior experience. The response is modulated by a complex interplay of neural circuits and hormonal factors. Despite these revisions, the concept of the sign stimulus remains a valuable tool for understanding how animals perceive and respond to their environment. By identifying the specific features that trigger behavioral responses, researchers can gain insights into the sensory and cognitive processes that underlie behavior. Section 6. The integration of instinct and learning. A dynamic perspective. The collective work, while emphasizing the importance of innate behaviors, also acknowledges the role of learning and experience in shaping behavior. Lorenz's work on imprinting provides a clear example of how innate predispositions can be modified through early learning experiences. Tinbergen's research on the foraging behavior of insects demonstrates how animals can learn to associate specific environmental cues with the presence of food, allowing them to efficiently locate resources. The integration of instinct and learning represents a key theme in modern ethology, highlighting the dynamic interplay between genetic and environmental influences on behavior. Evaluating the claims regarding the integration of instinct and learning requires careful consideration of the developmental processes underlying behavior. The development of behavior is not simply a matter of genes or environment acting in isolation. Instead, it is a complex interplay between the two. Genes provide the initial blueprint for behavior, but the environment provides the context in which behavior develops and is modified. This interplay can be seen in the phenomenon of phenotypic plasticity, where individuals with the same genetic makeup can exhibit different behaviors depending on the environment in which they develop. Subsequent research has revealed a remarkable diversity of mechanisms by which instinct and learning are integrated. Some behaviors are primarily innate, but can be modified through experience. Other behaviors are primarily learned, but are constrained by innate predispositions. The interplay between instinct and learning is further complicated by the fact that learning can itself be influenced by genes. For example, some individuals may be genetically predisposed to learn certain types of information more readily than others. The study of the interplay between instinct and learning has provided valuable insight into the development of behavior. Section 7. The adaptive significance of behavior. Evolutionary perspectives. The collective work emphasizes the importance of understanding the adaptive significance of behavior from an evolutionary perspective. Tinbergen's 4 questions provide a framework for addressing this issue, encouraging researchers to consider how behavior contributes to an organism's survival and reproduction. Lorenz's studies on aggression and social hierarchies shed light on how these behaviors can be adaptive in the context of competition for resources and mates. Von Frisch's work on honeybee communication demonstrates how cooperative behaviors can evolve through natural selection, benefiting both the individual and the colony. Assessing the claims regarding the adaptive significance of behavior requires careful consideration of the ecological and evolutionary pressures that shape behavior. Behaviors that are adaptive in one context may not be adaptive in another, and the same behavior can have different adaptive consequences for different individuals. The concept of inclusive fitness, which takes into account the effects of an individual's behavior on the reproductive success of its relatives, provides a valuable framework for understanding the evolution of altruistic and cooperative behaviors. Subsequent research has revealed a remarkable diversity of adaptive behaviors across the animal kingdom. Studies on animal foraging behavior, for example, have shown how animals can optimize their foraging strategies to maximize energy intake and minimize risk. Research on animal mating behavior has revealed complex patterns of mate choice, competition, and parental care that are shaped by factors such as sex ratio, resource availability, and predation risk. The study of the adaptive significance of behavior has provided valuable insights into the evolutionary processes that shape the diversity of life. Section 8 critiques and subsequent developments. In ethology, although the collective work represented a landmark in the field of ethology, its claims and approaches have been subject to ongoing critical evaluation and refinement. Initial critiques centered on the rigidity of the concepts of fixed action patterns and innate releasing mechanisms, arguing for greater flexibility and plasticity in behavior. The black box model of behavior, suggesting behavior could be studied without understanding underlying mechanisms, was re-evaluated and revised with new findings. Subsequent advancements in neuroscience, genetics, and behavioral ecology have provided a deeper understanding of the complex mechanisms underlying behavior, leading to significant revisions and extensions of classical ethological theories. The field has broadened beyond the study of individual behaviors to incorporate the study of social systems, cultural transmission, the cognitive abilities of animals. Evaluating the impact of these critiques and developments requires a nuanced understanding of the historical context in which classical ethology emerged. The early ethologists were pioneers in their emphasis on studying animal behavior in its natural context, an approach that contrasted sharply with the reductionist methods of behaviorism. They made important contributions to our understanding of the role of instinct and learning in shaping behavior, and their work laid the foundation for many subsequent advances in the field, including the understanding of the link between environment and evolution. However, their initial theories were necessarily limited by the available technology and knowledge, and subsequent research has revealed greater complexity and variability in animal behavior than they initially recognized. Modern ethology has embraced a more integrative and interdisciplinary approach, drawing upon insights from a wide range of fields to provide a more comprehensive understanding of the multifaceted nature of behavior. Epilogue. The collected writings reflecting the work of Karl von Frisch, Konrad Lorenz, and Nikolaas Tinbergen, published during their Nobel Prize year, offer a window into a pivotal moment in the history of ethology. Their careful observations, pioneering experiments, and insightful theoretical frameworks transformed the study of animal behavior, establishing the importance of both innate predispositions and environmental influences, while helping to bridge the gap between physiology, evolution, and animal behavior. While some of their original claims have been refined or revised in light of subsequent research, their foundational contributions remain essential for anyone seeking to understand the complexities of animal behavior. Their legacy endures, not as an immutable dogma, but as a vibrant and evolving framework for exploring the wonders of the natural world. Their work, therefore, continues to provide a profound basis for understanding the intricate relationships among animals, behavior, and the environment.
We really appreciate you tuning in to this AI-powered presentation. Our goal is to push the boundaries of AI in content creation, and your input is invaluable. If there's a particular subject you'd like to see us tackle next, or if you have suggestions on how we could fine-tune our AI's creative prompts, please don't hesitate to leave your ideas in the comments section. We're excited to bring you more unique content very soon.